Hey guys, Jacob with Jacob Comics. Alright, I got a fun episode. We're gonna review the Knights of X #1. And that one's like got a really awesome cover too. Um, got this dragon on here. And you see Gambit, Shatterstar. It's just a really cool cover. And speaking of cool covers, we're going to be giving away this Joker #1 Mark Brooks variant cover when we hit 200 subscribers. All you have to do is like, comment, and be subscribed to the channel, and that'll enter you to win. And the winner's also going to get this CBCA sticker, and that's the Comic Book Community Awards. And if you guys don't know about that, I suggest you head on over to Brian LCS's channel. It's kind of like the Oscars for comic book YouTube channels. All right, so let's get dived right on into the Knights of X #1. Now, normally, or as always, I should say, we we gotta do a couple things before we get into the issue. The first thing I want to let you guys know is that we are going to be going heavy into spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled for Knights of X #1, we're going to be diving right on into everything that happens. All right. Now, the second thing that I always want to get to to shout out is the creative team, because without the creative team we wouldn't have a comic book. So we have the writer is Teeny Howard, the artist is Bob Quinn. The colors are done by Eric Arciniega, and the letters are done by VC's Ariana Maher. All right, and we start with some uh, some overlay by Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock, and she's thinking. She kind of sees this catastrophic situation happening to an older village with like elf kids and stuff. They're all elves, and they're running from the village. And she's like, Avalon, the village of Jackdaw's Nest. Otherworld burns under the iron rule of Merlin, omniversal magister and his loyal knights, led by King Arthur. His furies raze even his own lands to the ground in search of witch breed, or mutants as they're known back home. But back home, death is less of a problem. Joshua Engelhard, the Jersey Devil, he isn't from here, but he likes it here. Krakowan by the way of Hoboken. And we see as a mutant's being chased, and she says, and he's praying he isn't alone, because if a mutant dies in Otherworld, they'll never come back the same way again. And we see these giant sentinel looking creatures just ravaging the town and chasing down all of the mutants and trying to get rid of them. And one of them kind of says, like in their sentinel voice, locking on known witch breed detected, which is what they call the mutants. And Betsy Braddock comes in with her shield and blocks the shot, saves this mutant, and she kind of takes off with him, saves him. She's riding on a horseback, and takes off, and off she goes till she gets him safely away. They kind of explain here a little bit what's going on. The gate home's been destroyed, so they can't get back to Krakowa anymore. And the Starlight Citadel is now the Lunatic Citadel, and Merlin rules Otherworld far more cruelly than Saturnine once did. And his most loyal knight is King Arthur. And she's like, you're not kidding, like from the legends? And she's like, yep, the same. And so then the giant sentinels are basically, they explain that the giant sentinels are basically like a legionnaires of the army of Merlin. And she gets back, and she's like, I'm not actually Captain Britain, I'm Captain Brett Land, and I've never been to Krakoa. The Betsy Braddock, is our leader. Turns out it's just somebody dressed up as Betsy Braddock who's also super powered. And then, like with most Marvel books, they kind of do a little overview to get you caught up. And since this is the first issue, it's not really getting you caught up, but it sort of does let the reader, you and I, know a little bit more about what's going on in case we're lost. And that says the battle for the Starlight Citadel has been lost. Now known as the Lunatic Citadel, it is under the control of the mutant-hating despot Merlin and his right-hand man, King Arthur, as he conspires with the United Kingdom's new ambassador and leader of the anti-mutant coven Akaba, Ruben Brousseau. Merlin's poisonous reach through Otherworld expands at a rapid pace. Meanwhile, the gates to Krakowa are closed. After deciding to stay in Otherworld to lead the Captain Britain Corps against Merlin's relentless mission to expunge Witchbreed from the realm, Betsy Braddock must find a way to return the former Omniversal Magistrix, Opal Luna Saturnine, to her rightful throne. But will Captain Britain be able to do it alone? And kind of interesting, right? it picks up though, I'm telling you. Let's give it a chance. All right, and so we see she's returned. It says within the Lavender Keep, the Captain Britain Corps defends the Magistrix in exile, Saturnine, and rescues those unfortunate mutants who find themselves alone in Otherworld that hates and fears them. Elspeth Braddock of Earth 13059 is the Corp's most powerful seer, her focused totality reaching out in an attempt to contact Earth 616, the home of the Corp's leader. Elspeth sees the Krakowans waiting for Betsy Braddock, but they cannot reach her. They wait for her. She is busy. Captain Britain Prime. Betsy Braddock of Seat 616, who raised the Starlight Sword and restored the Captain Britain Corpse in her name. Sworn Knight of Lady Saturnine. And so we see Captain Britain's actually there. She gets into an argument with Elspeth Braddock, pretty much about just, I'm sorry, your stolen throne hasn't been returned to you rapidly enough, Your Highness. And she's like, I'm doing the best I can, basically, and where are your great powers in your great city? um, yeah, and so they're kind of talking about how they've lost the Omniversal Magistrix, and without it, they're not strong enough to recapture control from Merlin, basically. And so then we have so far our main protagonist here, Captain Britain, comes and talks to a different lady, and she ends up drinking some alcohol and such and having a good time with her. Her name is Roma. She asks her if she has like an army that they could borrow, and she's like, no, I don't. And she goes, well, can you teleport me to Krakowa then? I can bring plenty of mutants back here, and we'll dethrone Merlin, right? She's like, I can't do that, but I can send you there with like I can't open up a gate and just let hundreds of mutants through to devastate him. But what I can do is I can send you there with magic, and a quest, and hands her a book. And then we see back on Krakoa, Richter and Shatterstar are awakened. Bay the Blood Moon is awakened. Gambit, Rachel Summers, and they're all awakened, and Rachel Summers says, "Betsy, you're back. You're alive." Um, and there's kind of a meeting of all of them as they're shocked to see Betsy Betsy Braddock back alive and on Krakoa. And she's like, "I need your help. I can only take 10." And Gambit's like, "Not another tournament." And she's like, "No, Gambit, it's nothing like that. It's really more of a quest." And so then everybody's like, "Okay, I'm on board." After a little bit of back and forth, um, and then we do have you always get these with the X-Men titles nowadays. We have a letter sent from Richter to Douglas Ramsey, the Warlock, and Bay, the Blood Moon, and he asks, well, he says, "Thanks for having me over." Um, but basically, he's like, I've got this thing. I don't know what it says. It's a book. Apocalypse left it, and a lot of it's old writing, and then there's a lot of new writing, and maybe Apocalypse left us a message, but I can't decipher it. And obviously, Douglas Ramsey would be the mutant to ask if you need to decipher a message, right? And so she's asked. That's what she's asking. We don't get any answer to that. We just get the question: "Can you help with this book?" And so then we see that they have met up with the five in the resurrection chambers, and they are now attempting with Gambit and everyone that's joined the team now, Shatterstar, and they're attempting to resurrect a mutant named just one second, Mordred, a mutant named Mordred. They're attempting to resurrect him because he died. Um, and as they're resurrecting him, they see someone in the egg, but then as the egg's hatching, the person inside vanishes. And so, you know, they don't know. They're like, "Okay, I guess that didn't work. We have to give up." And Jubilee and is like decides that she wants to come because she's heard about this adventure, and she's requested if she could come because Shogo, the baby that she's caring for, the baby mutant, has apparently been sleeping the entire time, and she doesn't know why, and she thinks maybe taking the baby back to Otherworld will help, because he's apparently dreaming of Underworld. And so then she's like, "Okay, shall we begin?" They grab the book, and we get this really cool, like, upside down and right side up paneling here that I thought was super cool. When I turned the page to that, I was like, "Oh, that's off. That is just cool." And so they're all teleported back to Otherworld, and there's a dragon, which is amazing. Honestly, I don't know. Like, I started digging. I was kind of like at but when it started hitting this, like, I don't know, it really turned the book around for me. All right, so then this dragon shows up, and it's like poof, Jubilee disappeared. The baby's there, but Jubilee's gone. And Rachel Summers apparently has like crazy new powers and fire coming out of her arms and hair, and her eyes are on fire, and she looks super cool. And then we get a scene of the bad guys here and the sentinel things they have, and these two kind of mutants up in front that look like cool bad guys that they might be fighting in these issues. And kind of see they're chasing down this other mutant that kind of looks like Beast, but he's more of a brown color. Yeah, I don't know his name yet. I think they might name him here, but they're chasing him down, and then in comes the team. Here's your other panel. In comes the team, and they save him, and I thought that was just a really cool one. I don't know. You get the whole team there, everyone's holding their weapons. Shatterstar's in the front, Gambit's with his cards. That dragon's in the back, like part of the team. Like, I don't know. I was like, that's pretty okay. Where are you going with this? I'm on board. Oh man. And then they're like, "You have me friends." He kind of mentions that, you know, could it be Excalibur? And she's like, "No, not anymore." Oh, there's his name. Not anymore, Kailoon, but we do need your help. So they add that mutant Kailoon to the team, and Captain Britain jumps on the back of the dragon, and the dragon starts flying around with her on the back, and they start battling the Sentinels in the air. And she does like some flight maneuvers and gets the Sentinels to crash into each other, while at the same time Rachel Summers is on the ground, like exploding people with fire, and Gambit's throwing cards at people, and Shatterstar's slicing people up with swords, and so is the the Bay girl with the big long red cleaver. She's messing people up. They're just destroying this whole army here. And then you kind of see this guy that he looks like the Black Knight. I'm not really sure, and they don't know who it is basically. And Shatterstar's like, well, hey, it's a distraction. We can use that. They're falling back a little bit. Then giant explosion, and they're like, we can't overextend, so they're not sure, but the bad guys have backed off, and this Black Knight figure kind of comes forward and stops in front of them, and Captain Britain's like, stop and speak your name or be cut down. And Rachel Summers says, if you're lucky. and is aiming the sword at him and stuff. He and the Black Knight guy, he gets off the black horse he's on. He walks over, he takes his black helmet off, and he says, "My lady, I am called Mordred, and I know very little about how I came to be here as I am now. But the men who follow my father have treated me like an enemy, and I hear you can grant me asylum." And they're like, holy cow, that's not the Mordred that I recognize. He's so much younger. And so basically, like, he joins the team. And so the Black Knight's back. He is alive again. They've resurrected the Black Knight, but he's lost all his memories and he's a good guy again. And so then then boom, the Siege Perilous just like appears because they've gathered the 10 heroes for the for the mission, for the quest. And it says 10 knights gathered, 10 fated warriors of the sacred X, together as one for the first time. Will you keep the promise? Will you take the quest? So gathered the knights of X, but not far away another, more sinister gathering did pledge their own quest. And you see this I don't know, like Merlin coming up out of the center of a desk, and he's creepy looking, like a kind of like a genie in a way, but a creepy evil old genie with a beard. He goes, "There you have it, King Arthur of Avalon. Your son is reborn again, a disgusting witch breed through and through, and that stone, the Siege Perilous, is the only thing that can change him forever. The quest belongs only to the pure, so you will not find the gem, but you can take it." And you see them all the bad guys seated at the round table, Knights of the Round Table, and they're bad guys. So yeah, that is Knights of X #1, and I yeah, I mean, I actually gotta give it a thumbs up and recommend it, especially if you're like, man, I kind of miss some of my X-Men characters, and you're into any of the characters that you heard in the story, it definitely seems like this story is going to be off in its own dimension, world by itself, and shouldn't be affected by any of the other X titles or Krakoa or anything else. There is a story arc here that's most definitely going forward in this other realm in a crazy. Let me show you the front cover again too, so you can with this dragon, and they're like, yeah, I mean it's pretty cool actually. Like, uh, I want to call it like an Elseworld story, but it is in mainline continuity because they can still. It was. It's also in a way like sort of a spin off of the X titles where the sword trials and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of like, we left that world in peace and everything was okay, but now things have gone bad and we have to go back there. So that's another thing. There's a good jumping on point. If you didn't read that story, you could still jump onto this one. But if you also read the sword trials a couple years back in the X-Men, and really enjoyed that, then this is the continuation of that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, man, if you guys like this kind of content and you want to win a free book, we're giving away that Joker #1 Mark Brooks variant with the Comic Book Community Award sticker. And all you have to do is like, comment, and be subscribed to the channel for a chance to win. And we'll be giving that away at 200 subscribers. And if you guys like this kind of content, hey, help me out and click the link below and shop on my eBay store. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow and have a great night, okay?